Aha. You ever feel the room shift before you even speak? Huh? You walk in and something silent signals through the air without asking permission. Wow. That's the kind of energy we're talking about today. The kind that makes even calm minds flicker slightly. Hey, and trust me, this isn't the story you watch halfway then forget. This one pulls you in and keeps your pulse climbing, right? You're here because something in you recognizes the weight of this moment already. Yes, stay to the end, because every second reveals something deeper waiting to rise now. Most people never admit it, but you sense there was something different inside you long before anyone said a word. Huh? A sharpness, a presence, a pressure others don't understand. Oh, when a psychic felt that same energy, he didn't lean in. He stepped back slow, like his instincts whispered caution quietly. Hey, and if you're listening to this right now, you're not watching by accident at all. Yes, I stepped into that dim room with a smile curved like a secret, and the psychic froze. He stared as if he'd touched a current he wasn't ready for. I could almost hear his thoughts crawling across the floor, trying to escape me. Funny, people always sense something, but never know what to call it. So I let him tremble. I let the silence thicken until it felt like a warning wrapped in a whisper. He tried to look deeper, but his breath hitched, as if the truth pressed a hand against his throat. I told him fear is just a mirror we forgot to clean, and he flinched, as though my voice carried something sharp. I watched him study me with that cautious stare. People save for storms. Little did he know, I don't arrive with thunder, I arrive with quiet. And quiet is where the real weight lives. He asked me where my strength came from, and I laughed before the sound even reached the air. Strength? No. It's something older, carved from moments everyone tries to hide. Moments stitched together with silence, pressure, and intent. He kept looking for answers, but answers don't sit still, they shift. They coil. They wait for the right mind to unlock them. And mine, well, it doesn't knock before entering. The psychic said my energy moved like something cornered, yet calm, like it had learned to breathe through fire without showing a single burn. I leaned closer and told him fire never scared me. It shaped me. It taught me that fear is only heavy when you run from it. When you walk toward it, the weight becomes yours to lift. And once you lift it, you never drop it again. He whispered that no human should carry this kind of intensity. I smiled wider. Humans carry far more than they admit. They just bury it under routines, expectations, and quiet regrets until it becomes a pressure they pretend not to feel. Me? I don't pretend. I let the pressure teach me its language. And once you learn that language, everything shifts. I told him the mirror never lies, but it does enjoy watching you flinch. Most people avoid their reflection because they sense something lurking behind their own eyes, something they once denied, something that never forgave them for trying to live small. That shadow waits, it studies, it learns your weak spots. And the moment you hesitate, it steps closer. Not to harm you, to claim what you abandoned. The psychic asked me why people fear themselves more than anything outside them. I said it's simple. When you face the world, you can pretend. But when you face yourself, every mask cracks. Every excuse melts. Every quiet truth stands up and demands to be acknowledged. And those truths are loud, not with sound, with pressure. Pressure that wraps around your thoughts and reminds you of everything you ran from. Pressure that whispers, "You could have been more." I leaned in and told him shadows aren't born dark. They turn dark from neglect, from being shoved aside, from being treated like flaws instead of power, waiting to ignite. Each denied strength becomes a watcher, a follower, a presence that grows heavier with every choice you avoid. And one day, when the world pushes you against a wall, that shadow steps forward to show you what you should have become. The cruel part? It shows you perfectly, without mercy, without pause, without softness. He swallowed hard and asked if I feared my own shadow. I laughed without smiling. Fear? No. I made peace with mine long ago. I let it speak. I let it reveal every truth I once buried. And the moment I listened, it stopped stalking me and started guiding me. Strength doesn't bloom in the light. It grows in the corners, in the pressure, in the thoughts you don't share because they feel too sharp, too ambitious, too real. Most people spend their lives trying to outrun themselves. They jump from distraction to distraction, hoping their shadow won't keep up. But shadows don't chase. They match your pace. They wait for silence. They wait for stillness. They wait for the moment when you have nowhere left to look except inward. And when that moment arrives, the mirror becomes a judge. Not cruel, just honest. They've always watched you from the corners, pretending they weren't measuring your steps. I've seen that look before. The one people wear when they sense something they can't quite name. They call it caution to feel safe. But you and I know better. It's anticipation wearing a thin disguise. It's the mind admitting what the tongue refuses to say. Your presence presses on their nerves long before you utter a single word. I told the psychic that people never fear who you are. They fear who you could become. The version of you that stops shrinking to fit their comfort. The version that stops apologizing for edges you earned. He blinked slowly, as if the idea rewired something inside him. I said awakening isn't loud. It's a shift, a click, a moment where your thoughts stop asking for permission. And once that switch flips, everything around you rearranges itself. He whispered that some minds weren't built for that level of force, and I laughed without moving my lips. Force isn't fury. It's clarity sharpened by experience. People sense it the way they sense a storm behind a closed door. They don't need proof. They just feel the pressure. And pressure doesn't lie. When you rise, even a little, they react. Some step back, some stare, some plot. But all of them feel the weight of what's coming. I told him, awakening is not a moment of explosion. It's a moment of decision. A quiet one, a private one. The kind that happens when you finally refuse to carry limits someone else placed on your shoulders. He asked what happens next. I said the world adjusts. Not because you demand it, because your presence becomes a statement. Every step you take writes a line others struggle to read. Every thought becomes a blade cutting away hesitation. People fear potential because potential has no shape. It's harder to predict, harder to control, harder to define. And when your potential stops sleeping, their comfort begins shaking. I leaned closer and told him the truth that made him look away. They're not afraid of your actions. They're afraid of your capacity. The part of you still coiled, still patient, still choosing when to reveal itself. Silence presses against the room like a held breath, and I can feel something shifting beneath it. Not noise, not motion, something deeper. The kind of tension that tightens the air until it feels like it might snap. The psychic kept glancing at the walls as if they were listening. I told him silence isn't empty. It's a signal, a pulse, a warning carved in stillness, waiting to strike. And every warrior learns to hear it long before the world does. He asked why the quiet around me felt so heavy. I smiled at the question because the truth is simple. Silence becomes sharp when you've endured enough weight to carve meaning into it. It becomes a mask that hides the exact second your mind turns from waiting to acting. People think noise reveals intention. They're wrong. It's the still moments, the ones where your thoughts harden into choices without asking for permission. Those are the moments that change everything. I leaned closer and told him silence speaks in ways the untrained never notice. It carries memory, pressure, echoes of every moment you swallowed instead of breaking. And when a mind sits in that quiet long enough, something inside begins to rise. Not wildly, not recklessly, with precision, with certainty, with the calm that forms when you finally stop negotiating with your own limits. That pulse in the air, it's the sound of a mind preparing to shift its entire path. The psychic swallowed hard and said it felt like I was waiting for something. I nodded. Waiting is a craft, a discipline, a cold kind of patience sharpened by experience. You don't rush your rise. You let it gather. You let it tighten inside you until movement becomes inevitable. And when the moment arrives, there's no announcement, no warning, just action, clean, focused, final. And the silence breaks like a barrier that was never meant to hold you. I told him every warrior carries a pulse inside that never stops beating, a pulse born from trials, pressure, and choices that cut deeper than anyone saw. That pulse grows louder when you're close to becoming what you were meant to be. Others won't understand it. They'll sense it. They'll feel the air change when you walk in. They'll feel the quiet thicken around you. They'll feel that pulse, and they won't know why. Rage is a strange creature. Everyone fears it, but few understand what it becomes when you stop letting it spill and start letting it shape. The psychic watched me with a wary stare, as if my calm held something simmering beneath the surface. I told him the truth. Rage isn't chaos, not when you refine it, not when you filter it through discipline instead of impulse. Then it becomes an engine, cold, focused, precise. The kind of force that cuts through hesitation like a blade through fog. He whispered that anger destroys people, and I felt a low laugh rise in my chest. Only wild anger destroys. Sharpened anger elevates. The kind that no longer burns your hands because you learned how to hold it without flinching. Most people drown in their emotion because they never learned to tame it. But if you hold your rage still, if you let it settle, a new picture forms, clearer than anything peace ever offered. That clarity strikes without noise. It arrives like a realization you cannot unsee. I told him clarity born from rage is different. It doesn't come gently. It hits like truth that was waiting for years. It reveals the people who underestimated you, the moments you stayed silent, the opportunities you hesitated to take. It doesn't mock you. It reminds you. It shows you who you are beneath the distractions, beneath the doubts. Beneath the layers, the world tried to press onto your shoulders. That kind of clarity doesn't fade. It becomes your lens for everything that follows. He took a step back and asked if that clarity ever frightened me. I shook my head. Fear belongs to confusion, not understanding. When you understand your rage, it no longer owns you. It fuels you, and that fuel is powerful. It moves you when comfort would have kept you still. It drives you when excuses would have dragged you down. It sharpens every decision until even hesitation feels out of place. Rage becomes purpose. Purpose becomes momentum. Momentum becomes transformation. I leaned close enough for him to feel the weight of every word. Rage is not a flaw, it's a compass. It shows you what matters by pointing directly at what you refuse to tolerate anymore. That compass grows louder with every trial, every slight, every limit imposed on you. And the moment you choose to follow it, you stop wandering through life as someone half awake. The psychic's eyes drifted toward the marks I never bothered to hide, and I watched his curiosity tremble. I told him scars don't speak in past tense. They speak in pressure, in memory etched beneath the skin. Each one carries a moment that tried to break you and failed. People call them stories to make them sound gentle. They're not gentle. They're signatures carved by endurance. Proof that you stood where others would have folded. Proof that you kept moving, even when the air felt too thin to breathe. He asked if they ever haunted me, and I let the silence linger before answering. Haunted? No. Haunting happens when you try to forget. I don't forget. I catalog every cut, every wound, every moment the world pressed its weight against me. That archive becomes a map only I can read. A map of every step taken under pressure. A map of choices no one else saw. These marks aren't reminders of pain. They're reminders of return. The moments I fell only to rise again with a clearer mind. I leaned in and told him scars aren't warnings. They're signatures of identity. They reveal the parts of you that survived when survival wasn't guaranteed. Most people hide their marks because they think they weaken the image they show the world. But hiding strength doesn't protect you. It erases the proof that you endured. I wear mine openly. They're anchors. They steady my mind when doubt knocks. They whisper truths the present often forgets. Truths that sharpen resolve until hesitation has nowhere left to stand. The psychic whispered that my scars felt different. He said they carried presence, weight, intention. I nodded. Scars gain presence when you stop wishing them away, when you claim every part of your journey without apology. Pain shapes you, yes, but how you respond shapes you more. These marks show that response. They show the moments where I refused to collapse. They show the pressure I learned to absorb without losing direction. They show the strength that formed quietly and the clarity that came after. So here we are, at the edge of what most people never dare to see. You made it through. And that alone says everything about the fire you carry inside. Wow. This energy, this presence, it's yours to claim, not borrow, not hide, and definitely not ignore. Hey, remember, every moment you face your own limits, you're rewriting the rules of what's possible. Yes, if this video hit you like it should, leave a comment right now. Tell me what part cut through your mind. Share your thoughts, your realizations, your awakenings. Because voices like yours amplify everything we're building here together. And never forget, Showing up for yourself like this isn't small, it's legendary strong. Hey warriors, do you feel that shift? Like the whole vibe around you just got real quiet, huh? Oh wow, something's about to explode. Because tonight isn't just another story. It's the moment someone painfully discovered what "touch not my anointed" really means. You helped them learn the hard way. They thought you were weak. They thought your silence meant defeat. Nah, they didn't realize your stillness was a warning, a calm before the comeback, a quiet before the reckoning. Oh yeah, they're learning now. Every action, every whisper, every little jab came back like thunder. So listen up. This one isn't just a speech, it's a mirror. A reflection of every time you kept your dignity while they played dirty. Every time you held your peace when they wanted chaos. Every time you let time do the talking, instead of your anger. And guess what? You weren't defeated. You were being refined. Every bruise became armor. Every insult became wisdom. Every attempt to break you became the blueprint for your rise. Oh wow, the pain, it trained you. The silence, it built you. The struggle, it anointed you, not in words, but in endurance. So don't you dare skip this video. Nah, stay till the end. Because every second, every word, every pause in this monologue carries something you felt but never heard spoken out loud. You're about to hear your story, told with fire, with grit, with that raw truth that can't be faked. And before we dive in, shout out to you, the real ones watching this. The ones who kept moving in silence. The ones who healed without validation. The ones who stayed kind when the world turned cold. You're the reason voices like this exist. So drop your thoughts in the comments, share your fire, and let them feel how unbreakable you've become. Power doesn't scream, it watches. And when it moves, the silence breaks bones. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet tremor before everything snapped. That chill in the air when someone crossed the line. When they touched what was never theirs to touch. Oh wow. You thought you were just helping, didn't you? But in truth, you became the mirror they never wanted to look into. You helped someone painfully discover what "touch not my anointed" really means without ever saying a word. Because some lessons aren't spoken, they're lived. And oh, they burn. They thought your calm was weakness. They mistook your silence for surrender. They kept poking, kept whispering, kept testing the limits of what your patience could hold. You didn't fight back. Not because you couldn't, but because you were letting something unseen take its course. That's the part they never understood. You weren't ignoring them. You were observing, waiting. Watching the consequence write itself in real time. And now, look at them, stumbling through the weight of what they started. Regret tastes different when it's your own doing, doesn't it? The same lips that mocked now tremble when they speak your name. The same hands that pointed now shake under invisible pressure. That's what happens when arrogance collides with restraint. When cruelty tests someone protected by purpose. Yeah, painful, isn't it? See, some people don't learn through conversation. They only understand when their peace gets rearranged. When their comfort zone becomes a battlefield they can't escape. You didn't curse them. You didn't chase them. You simply existed with a power they couldn't comprehend. And that's what made them crumble. The irony? They thought they were exposing you. Instead, they exposed themselves. Every fake smile, every whispered insult, every envy they tried to hide beneath kindness. You saw it all. You just chose silence as your weapon. And silence, oh, silence cuts deeper than any blade. Because when you walk in a certain kind of truth, you don't need to announce it. The universe itself starts defending you in ways they can't understand. Situations flip, voices tremble, plans collapse. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. Painful consequence. They poked something that doesn't play by their rules. They tried to pull down someone who was never built on their approval. And now they're discovering that certain souls are off limits. Not because they're perfect, but because they're chosen for something greater than pettiness. Nah, this isn't revenge. This is balance. The kind that humbles, the kind that teaches through loss. You didn't lift a finger, you just stood there while time did the talking for you. And now the air around them feels heavy, doesn't it? Their laughter doesn't echo the same way. Their confidence feels borrowed, brittle, desperate. Because they finally realized they touched something they shouldn't have. Sometimes, justice doesn't shout. It rearranges the room quietly until everyone feels the shift. The silence broke, didn't it? The air changed texture, heavier, colder, like it was carrying a warning. You could almost hear it, that low hum in the distance, the kind that crawls up your spine before reality delivers its message. Oh wow. That's the moment they realize this isn't random. This is the echo of what they did returning, step by step, breath by breath. You don't even have to say a thing anymore. The storm is doing the talking for you. They thought consequence was a bedtime story, something exaggerated, something for others. But now they're living it. Every whisper they released in arrogance circles, back with precision. It's poetic in a way, how life teaches through repetition. The pain they spread now wears their reflection. It's not cruelty, it's correction. That's the part they can't stand. The fact that the universe has a memory longer than their excuses. See, when someone carries a clean purpose, interference becomes expensive. There's a cost to tampering with people who move differently, those who build quietly, act with reason, and keep their peace sacred. They can't be bought, baited, or broken. That's why envy always targets them first, because calm power terrifies chaos. And when chaos picks a fight with order, oh, the outcome writes itself. Yeah, you felt the tremor too, that subtle moment when balance shifted back in your favor. You didn't gloat, you didn't smirk. You simply observed the law of cause and effect unveil its masterpiece. They thought you were finished, but you were just reloading in silence. You didn't lose your mind, you found your clarity, and that's what truly unsettled them. You became what they feared most, unreactive, untouchable, unreadable. You didn't chase revenge, because patience did it for you. You didn't shout for fairness, because time proved your case. Every action has its echo, and theirs came back louder than expected. Now they flinch at shadows of their own design. The laughter that once mocked now trembles under its own weight. Actions always return home, don't they? Always. And the best part? You never had to lift a single weapon. Because truth, when left undisturbed, becomes its own blade. It cuts quietly, cleanly, perfectly timed. Power isn't proven by what you destroy, it's revealed by what you survive. Oh wow. You felt that transformation, didn't you? That cold burn inside you, the one that didn't break you, but reforged you. It wasn't loud. It wasn't cinematic. It was quiet, almost eerie. The kind of silence that carries weight. You didn't rise with a scream. You rose with precision. You became something else. Stronger, sharper, wiser. And that's what no one prepared them for. The version of you that no longer bleeds from old wounds. The version that learned how to walk through fire and come out with purpose in its hands. Because pain doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it sculpts. Every betrayal carved you. Every lie polished you. Every attempt to break you only made you study the architecture of endurance. You watched people play their games, but instead of reacting, you took notes. That's the kind of danger they never see coming. The calm one who remembers everything. Yeah, that's you now. A storm that learned patience, a weapon that learned silence. They thought your suffering was their victory. But suffering, when endured with awareness, becomes the blueprint of invincibility. You learn to walk with scars like medals, not burdens. You learn that not every pain deserves revenge. Some just deserve to witness your evolution. And oh, how that terrifies them now. Because they can't manipulate what no longer craves approval. You're not chasing recognition anymore. You're chasing refinement. You've become a walking reminder that no one escapes the truth they provoke. There's a special kind of peace that follows chaos when you handle it with clarity. It's not joy, it's deeper. It's understanding. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, the noise lost its grip. You realize that silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. And wow, how that silence unsettled them. Because when you stopped defending yourself, the truth started doing it for you. Every person who wronged you became a teacher without knowing it. Every wound became a verse of wisdom carved into your patience. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You didn't walk out of the fire burned, you walked out branded by strength. That's the real secret of being untouchable. Not that pain never finds you, but that pain can no longer define you. Nah, you're not bitter. You're focused. You don't move from emotion anymore, you move from principle. You've mastered the art of letting storms cleanse instead of consume. You've learned that sometimes the greatest revenge is quiet progress, steady breath, unshakable peace. You've become the living example of restraint, and restraint is terrifying to those who survive off reaction. Peace isn't gentle. It's earned through wars no one saw you fight. Oh wow. They think peace means weakness. They think calm means surrender. But you know better now, don't you? Peace is not the absence of storms. It's the ability to stand inside one and not flinch. You learned that the hard way. Every silent night where your thoughts were louder than the world, every day you held your tongue when you could have shattered them with truth. That was training, discipline disguised as stillness. And that's what separates the guided from the impulsive. You don't brag about your peace because it was built from wreckage. They see your calm now, but they didn't see the nights you held yourself together when everything wanted to break apart. You didn't find peace. You forged it, hammered it, tempered it. It cost you your comfort, your reactions, your need to prove yourself. That's the price of restraint, a price they'll never pay because they're too addicted to noise. Yeah, noise, The loud scramble of people who can't sit alone with themselves. When they touched you, when they mocked, lied, and pushed, they thought they were damaging you. They didn't realize they were polishing you. Every insult became a reflection of their own unrest. Every attack revealed their fear of your stillness. They can't stand someone who doesn't react. They feed on chaos, and you stopped feeding them. That's when you became dangerous, because control terrifies those who depend on confusion. Nah, you're not cold. You're precise. You learned that peace isn't about letting things slide. It's about knowing when to act and when to let time do the work. You don't need to expose anyone. Their patterns do it for you. You don't need to chase answers. Truth arrives uninvited. That's real strength. Not revenge, not rage, but wisdom earned in silence. People confuse your peace for passivity. But peace doesn't mean you don't notice. It means you see everything and choose not to waste energy where it won't grow. You've become selective with your attention, protective of your calm. That's maturity, and it's lethal to those who thrive on reaction. Because the moment you stopped fighting small battles, the war turned in your favor. And here's the part that stings for them the most. Your peace exposed their noise. Your silence made their actions echo louder. Your calm forced them to face what they truly are. You didn't need revenge. You became reflection. Every time they tried to stain your name, their own hands darkened. Every time they plotted, their steps tangled in their own traps. That's the law of alignment. You don't break it, you become it. And now, you stand in a stillness they can't interrupt. You've mastered what they mocked. You've become what they feared. But what happens when peace itself starts to move? Because sometimes, peace is just patience, sharpening its blade. The strongest message is not spoken, it's lived in silence, with results no one can deny. Oh wow, they didn't think it would come to this, did they? They thought you'd stay quiet forever, that your calm meant they won. But what they never saw was the transformation happening behind that stillness. You weren't retreating, you were resetting. You weren't hiding, you were refining. Every scar, every slight, every attack became fuel for something deeper, something structured. You've become the kind of power that doesn't need to shout anymore. Just your presence makes the air rearrange itself. That's how you know you've crossed into a different level, when your peace becomes a warning. They whisper now, not because you demanded respect, but because you embody it. Your actions speak louder than their rumors. Your growth outpaces their schemes. And when they see you walk past, calm, centered, unbothered, it hurts them more than any confrontation ever could, because they finally understand. They didn't silence you. They created you. They forced you to meet the version of yourself that can't be shaken anymore. Yeah, that's poetic, isn't it? You see, some people have to lose access to you to realize how small their world becomes without your light in it. You used to explain yourself. Now you just move differently. You used to react. Now you just let time do its work. That's growth. Not loud, not flashy, but absolute. And oh, how painful it must be for them to watch you thrive in peace while they drown in the noise they created. Because when the untouchable rises, the ones who tried to break them must live with the reminder of what they built instead. Nah, this isn't about revenge anymore. It's about legacy. You've become living evidence that resilience outlasts deception. You've turned every loss into language, every setback into structure. And the lesson they're choking on now is simple. You can't harm what was meant to rise. They threw stones. You built steps. They spread doubt. You built discipline. They tried to bury you. You learned how to grow underground until your roots cracked their foundation. That's what real endurance looks like. Quiet, relentless, inevitable. The truth is, you never needed to announce your strength. It revealed itself in how you endured without losing integrity. You didn't match their darkness. You outlasted it. You didn't need to shout justice. Your existence became it. That's why they flinch now. Not because of what you'll do next, but because of what you've already become. You've turned into a lesson carved in silence, the kind that humbles the arrogant and strengthens the patient. And now, as the dust settles, something new rises, something unmistakable, irreversible, unstoppable. You've become the warning no one heeds until it's too late. You've become the reminder that every action meets its reflection. Oh wow, so you made it to the end, huh? You felt that, didn't you? Every word, every pause, every echo hit like a memory you buried deep but never forgot. Yeah, that's because this wasn't just a speech. It was true, dressed in scars and spoken through fire. They learned their lesson, painfully. You didn't have to lift a finger, didn't have to scream, didn't have to prove a thing. The balance handled it, quietly, efficiently, perfectly, because some people only learn when the silence starts speaking. Oh yeah, now they know "touch not my anointed" wasn't just a warning, it was a verdict written in patience. You see, what they meant for harm became your awakening. What they tried to break became your breakthrough. You didn't fight back, you rose. You didn't fall apart, you evolved. That's your power now. And oh, they can't stand it. So if you're watching this right now, this isn't just content. This is your reflection. You survived things they thought would silence you forever, but look at you, still standing, still calm, still powerful, beyond measure. Yeah, clap for yourself. No, seriously. You've earned it. Every scar, every sleepless night, every moment you refused to fold. It built you into something they can't touch anymore. That's not arrogance. That's awareness. That's mastery of self. That's what walking in purpose looks like. So here's what I want you to do next. Drop a comment below and tell me, what did this speech ignite in you? What moment hit hardest? I read every single one because of your stories. They matter. They keep this fire alive. And before you go, remember this. Not everyone who touches you understands what they're handling. Some only realize after the damage is done, after your silence rearranges their world. So stay calm, stay focused, stay untouchable. Because the ones who learn the hard way, they never forget the lesson again.